Hey, what's up, what's up, what's up, what's up? It's your girl KB. It's part 2 of the video about toxic traits. Let me timestamp this. It is Wednesday morning. It's the last day of April 30th. And it is 3:27 in the a.m. Now, I was talking about being both a mess and a masterpiece, and our dislike for the word sin. I don't care what you call it wrongdoing, call it being out of step, call it poor choices, but recognize where you are in your behavior. Scripture tells us that man sees himself as right in his own eyes. But we also have that saying, that axiom about, the individual represents themselves in court. They have a fool for an attorney. So if I'm right in my own eyes, I'm representing myself. I'm my own God. And if I know I'm out of step, what does that say about your worship experience? One of the toxic traits that we have is diminishing the majesty and authority of God. Because, we want that position. We just push God off the throne and assume the role. But again, if you know you have toxic traits, what does that say about your God? There is a scripture in Deuteronomy that talks about a heart turning away from God. So I have it written here. It says, "Beware lest there be among you a man or a woman or a clan or a tribe whose heart is turning away today from the Lord our God to go and serve the gods of those nations," whatever those nations are. What do you exalt, or who do you exalt in life? "Beware lest there be among you a root bearing poisonous and bitter fruit." I'm just going to let that sit where it is, because for me, I see this being played out day in and day out. And I'm going to say for 100 days, so you know how I see it being played out. And then when we replace God or diminish the deity of God, again, we go to this fleshly life. I'm going to satisfy me. I'm going to call it agency, authority, autonomy, but it's all about me. You've heard me say this. The things sometimes that I chase after are going to be the things that kill me if I don't wake up. We get dressed up, we get dolled up, we get smelling good, we court this thing, we date this thing, we marry this thing, and this thing buries us. See, it's about the life assurance. That part. You've heard the term Black Widow. So, the Black Widow kills you for the life insurance. The things we're chasing after kills us for the life assurance. Christ said, "I came that you might have life and have it more abundantly." Well, the things that we chase after suck the joy out of that life, suck the purpose out of that life, and then you're going through the motions and you become bitter. That part. See, then we have people or the character trait of just keeping up drama. I want you to go to Romans 16:17 and Romans 12:18, to see how that plays out. I can distract you. I can also kill you. We watch the videos of people on their cell phones just doing dumb stuff and, end up getting wrecked up. Yeah, and that's funny to us. It's the same thing with, the person who quarrels. They keep this distraction, they keep this drama. Then we have, the prideful heart, which is a result of our character defects. It's like, again, it's all about me. Everything is about me, so all bets are off. Then we have the liar. Grandma taught me, tell the truth to shame the devil. That was one of, classic sayings. Tell the truth and shame the devil. And then it's like, I got caught up with the liar. And I got caught up in a real way. Because the liar, and the next character defect I have is the flatterer. The liar appealed to my pride, the flattery. So I want you to think about situations the next time you want to blame somebody in a bad outcome for a relationship. I want you to think about how you entered it and what appealed to you about it. So for a long time I was just angry at the individual. But I had to look at me and, again, why I was in it. What was appealing about it. And I want to say, not all of my motives were altruistic. That part. And that's a humbling experience and revelation to realize that, you weren't 100% innocent in something. Even though the pain that was inflicted was very real, and individuals were very deceptive, you weren't altruistic when you entered in. And, to bring this all together, I want to say, bring everything to a head, the question or the way you need to look at yourself. Remember, those magic words were spoken to me. The way you need to look at yourself is, how did I respond? Did I respond? And what is my next move? And the first move, which again, I wasn't totally on the up and up in my anger. I sought to do some damage. I sought revenge. Didn't act on it. But that was my first thought, and I had to check myself just on my thinking. How do I respond? Prayer. First, for the individual that inflicted the pain. What's going on with that person that they felt what they were doing was okay? Then for your hurt. See, we know Jehovah Rapha. You know, what is your proper response? What is your reasonable amount of service, if you will, at this point in your pain? You're not thinking clearly. Thoughts are muddled because of the pain. Where do you go? See, this is where the rubber meets the road kind of faith. This is the real talk for the faith walk. This is the stuff that they sometimes talk about in church in very vague terms. You know, this is the home remedy, you know, Mama Nim's holistic health, apothecary, you know, where modern medicine tells you, nah, that's not going to work. But they knew. This is the kind of faith I'm talking about.